Hi parents, my name is Coach Amber Rao-Barony. I am one of the co-founders and owners of Rec It Volleyball and Fistball Club. Today I will be answering the question, is my intro to tournaments athlete ready for rotations level 1? So something to keep in mind when we are answering these questions is for some of you, you may be registering in the middle of your program, while some of you, you'll be registering once your tournament series is over. So I will discuss the difference between the two. And the rule of thumb is that you do have one of our phone numbers, and we do have the coaches evaluating all of the athletes throughout the programs. So if you are one of the parents that likes to sign up early, because you know that a lot of the programs do generally fill up pretty quickly, if you want to reach out to either myself or Cliff or Nicole or any of the other coaches that have company numbers, you are definitely more than welcome to. This is generally speaking for parents who are looking at the end of the program, but I will give you some ideas of what to look for in the middle of the programs as well. So the first thing is that, let's say that we're at the beginning or the midpoint of the season. So they should want to set during the tournament. So one of the requirements is that when they are going into the tournament, they have to be willing to set the entire time. So it can't be one of those athletes who is afraid at the beginning of the tournament and then halfway through the tournament they kind of get it together and they want to set, or they get encouraged to set. They have to go into the tournament already with the desire to set. And the reason for that is because when they go into rotations, they will have to set in the tournament. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. They have to be willing to set. In the intro to tournament, the coaches are going to be an option to set if the athletes are still a little nervous about their abilities. But once they graduate out of this program, it is required for them to be comfortable setting. So this has to be something that we start to see that desire in the middle of the program, and it's not just waiting until the tournament. So if you have an athlete who knows 100% that they're going to set in the tournament, then you definitely can start kind of considering if rotations level 1 is your option. The next thing is transitioning without any reminders. So again, this is also during gameplay. So during the second half of the program, we will have the athletes transitioning during gameplay. So a brief description of what transitioning is them trying to block when the other team is hitting and then coming off of the net to get ready to hit. So if this is the net here, they're starting at the net, and transitioning is coming off of the net to the 10-foot line. So when the setter sets the ball, they can run up, jump, and hit the ball. So if they're kind of just standing on the court during the gameplay portions or even during the tournament, then they're definitely not ready to move up into the next level, which is rotations level 1. So if you see a lot of forward and backwards moving when they're playing, and the coaches aren't walking them through it and they're doing it on their own, then they're ready to move up to rotations level 1. The next is a skill called swing blocking during the coach free balls at the tournament. So we, generally speaking, will go over a skill called swing blocking, which is basically where they start at the net, and let's say that there's a hitter over here. They move their body over to block this person. So if they aren't doing that during the coach free balls, then they're probably not ready to move up into rotations. If they aren't doing it at all, like during gameplay, but they do it during the free balls, then it's okay for them to move up. It's just we need to have that awareness that they understand that when you block, it's not just jumping straight up and down. You actually have to move towards the ball and try to block the person hitting it. So if the person who's hitting is all the way, 10 feet to your right, you don't want to jump straight up. You want to move towards that player to actually have the chance of blocking it. So if they demonstrate that they understand that concept during the coach tosses, then they have the ability to also move up. The next thing is that they can do beginner level skills while they learn new skills. So something that we always talk about with the athletes is that when we start to push new concepts with them, it may make their abilities a little less consistent. So what I mean is, let's talk about transitioning. So transitioning, again, is where they're coming on and off of the net. So if they're learning the timing of transitioning, they may not be ready to do their hitting approach, and that may make it not as consistent. So we want to make sure that as they're learning how to transition, they're still able to hit or set or tip or serve without being overwhelmed, because when they move into rotations, they're going to be challenged a lot more with certain movement patterns where it's going to be assumed that they can move in this way first, and then they're ready to actually start doing the other movement patterns that we're going to teach in the rotations level 1. So if they're struggling to pass a ball while trying to transition, or they're struggling just in general with all of the stuff that we're teaching, then we recommend them doing the class at least one more time. And it is totally normal for the athletes to take the classes a few times. And the reason for that is because we only have 5-week courses. So they're only getting a few classes, and we want to make sure that they're getting the ability to continue relearning these topics and get that content down, rather than saying, okay, you've done it for 5 weeks, let's move on, even though they don't actually have it down yet. So we want to give you guys that option to retake it as many times as needed, because this is the foundation of their athletic careers. And if they want to be competitive in the future, if that's what their goal is, they need to have this as a muscle memory, or something that just basically that means just being able to do it without thinking about it. The final thing is that they should be able to serve from about 3/4 of the way back, and sometimes getting it over, even if it's barely going over, from the end line. So typically speaking, if they can do 1 through 4, but maybe this one, number 5, is wishy-washy, we'll still let them move up, because they do get serving practice every single practice, and we do generally let the beginners, intro to tournaments, and rotations level 1 kids serve from inside of the court. So it's okay if they're not quite as good at serving, but we do want to make sure that they have at least 4 of the 5 requirements to be able to move up. So this one isn't as important, but it is going to become important, because once you're starting to learn rotations, if you can't serve from at least half court, now it makes it really hard for us to have gameplay and have it that the players are actually executing proper gameplay with the rotational movements. So we need to at least be able to have them serve over the net and past the 10-foot line, if possible, from wherever they're serving from. So typically speaking, we like to say from 3/4 back. So if we need to move them up a little bit, they'll be able to serve to like the deeper portion of the court in the tournament. So I hope that this helps you out. We understand that it is sometimes nicer to call us or message us. So if you do have any other questions, if you're a returning customer, which we assume you are, because this is asking about an intro to tournaments athlete, most of you guys have our phone number and owner's number, so either myself or Coach Cliff. So definitely save our numbers and reach out to us whenever possible. We prefer text message first, and then if it's an issue that takes a little bit more time, then we'll give you guys a call. But we're on the phones constantly with new customers and parents who are asking a lot of questions, and they're all very good questions, but we just don't have enough time in the day to answer every single phone call. So if it's something that's a quick question, definitely utilize our resources of the phone numbers, our company phone numbers, and reach out via text message, and then we can help you out as quickly as possible. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.